Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls. Welcome to Tales with TR, episode 256A. On the eve of Hockey Helps the Homeless here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. I'm going to record this, and then I'm going to pick up one Joe Dolo, Jonathan Diaby, a.k.a. Dolo, and Brian McGrattan, tough NHL forward, penalty minute record holder, AHL, 545 minutes, I think. I could be off by a few, but check that out. Anyway, I'm going to pick up the boys at the airport in a couple of hours. Then we're going to head into seniors. I'm going to show them the basement, listen to some tunes, watch some hockey fights maybe, talk about some playoffs, look at some records, and then we're going to head down to Greensleeves. Why not? Greensleeves, loose tie right above it. I talk about it at the end of every podcast. Why not have some beers? Why not have a great bite to eat? At the cornerstone of George Street, Greensleeves. There you go. So I'm looking forward to it. Where are we right now, you may ask? This is Tuesday, and game one of the playoffs. Just woke up, watched the highlights. Fell asleep. It was a long trip, 3 months, gone away. Anyway, the Leafs, I went to bed, and they were up 2-0, 5-4. Just rewatched a lot of it. And, yeah, so I'm going to answer some questions. So listen, I always forget, not always forget. I've forgotten the last little while. I promised Carol Hutchison down south. I think you're in Texas, Carol. In any case, you asked me a question. Have you ever been in a scrap with another player and left the game thinking this isn't over, and the beef continued after the game? Okay, so I honestly don't really remember that happening much. I remember being real upset many times on the ice, like fucking ripping, fuming. But that feeling would often dissipate after the game. I mean, I'd still be upset, but what are you going to... I'm not saying that you're implying that we just fight off the ice, but not even... I don't remember many times being upset. I remember once, Matt Odette, if you'll look, there's a few of our fights on YouTube. We fought, it seemed, every game, but I don't know how many times, probably 10 times in pro. And he played for, St. John Flames, and I played for Fredericton Canadiens, Montreal farm team. He was with the Leafs farm team. The St. John Flames, Calgary's farm team. And I played in this division for 3 years. So did he. I went from Fredericton 2 years, well, parts of 3, over to St. John's, the Atlantic Division of the American Hockey League. And we did not like each other. We didn't not like each other. I can't say we liked each other. We were impartial. But I remember once it was like bucket of beers at Sundance. And I think they'd come in for 3 games. I was playing for the St. John's Maple Leafs. And say it was like Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So it had to be Saturday because we were in the afternoon at Sundance having some wings and beers, watching a game or whatever. And their team was there too. Now, we don't always hang out with the other team. Even back then, people think that happened a lot. It was a judgment call. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I won't say hang out, but you often find yourself at the same place. St. John's isn't huge. It's a decent-sized city, but if there's a special somewhere downtown, especially it was like Bud Girls were there. There was promos. It was the place to be. So, you're going to be in the same spot. I don't remember like hanging and banging with them, but I remember him being at the bar right in front of me. So I went up and I had a Bud Light that was almost done. And he ordered a bucket. It was him and 3 buddies. And the buckets, I think, were 5 beers, I believe. And anyway, so there was 1 extra. And he looked at me and he saw that I was going to order one. And he just kind of passed me the beer. And he said, I guess we're fighting tomorrow. I said, I guess so. And cheers. And he went the other way. And we did fight the night. I think that one's on YouTube as well. St. John's Maple Leafs. Ryan Odette. Check it out. Anyway, that was the first I'd ever spoken to him as well. Now, we've communicated online. I should actually ask him to come on the podcast. It'd be interesting. And was, by all indications, he is a great guy. Yeah, that was funny. And we'd often just kind of allude to it on the ice with a wink and a nod. But, one sec. There are a couple of instances that I saw it happen with other players. And I don't feel, I don't think there'd be any problem with me explaining it, but I don't know if I should. I think these guys maybe want to, it's a long time ago, man. It's 20 years ago. The incidents I'm thinking about, same year. Who knows? Maybe I don't know, maybe they found God or they're married and didn't tell their wife that part of the story or simply are embarrassed, or I don't really know. It's not up to me to say. And for that reason, I won't tell you. But I will say something that almost happened, man, is that when I played in Fredericton, we played St. John's. It was a pretty big rivalry for a lot of reasons, especially that time. And Michel Therrien had a couple of incidents without getting into it. Greg Bird, Doug Smith, R.I.P. Todd Gillingham, rest in peace as well. Those guys, and more, but they would often create a problem for Michel Therrien and myself and anybody on our team that liked to be physical. Aaron Asham, Gordy Dwyer, Dave Morissette, Jerry Fleming. Jonathan Delille, we had French guys. It wasn't your typical Jonathan Delille, rest in peace again. Jesus, everybody's dead. Johnny would drop the mitts, man. Frankie Bouillon, remember, people used to call him Bouillon, but Bouillon, they pronounce it. Little guy, he'd fucking run you, man. That guy, we had Sylvain Blouin, Mark Hussey, fucking David Ling. Of the French guys, I'm just saying, because at the time, the stereotype would have been small French, like Quebec League. I don't know why. I guess, as a rule, the Habs, I suppose, were associated with French and fast, and there was still that Guy Lafleur flying Frenchman like connotation, even though this was the 90s and that happened in the 70s. But a lot of people think that, and I like to correct them. I'm like, no, and it wasn't like a French-English thing with Michel Therrien. Lots of the French guys didn't like him either. So it wasn't like a separate. I know there are teams, people have told me, like cliques, French, Europeans, English, or whatever. And there was definitely cliques, but we all really did get along. And the French guys that played on our team, a lot of them were like pretty tough, man. So I was never like, what's the word? I appreciated their team first attitude. A lot of them, especially Jonathan Delille. I played with him a little bit. We're same age. He shot right, I shot left. Shoot. And we played together the odd time, on the same line, or more than the odd time, half of a full season. And really liked the guy. Anyway, Aaron Asham was, of course, really tough. And you know that by just typing in Aaron Asham and watching YouTube. But Aaron Asham is especially tough off the ice. I mean, especially tough. I'll tell the story again on here soon. We'll have Ash back. But I've seen Ash with a knife at his throat. These are outliers. He doesn't go around doing that. I'm just saying we found ourselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I saw him with a gun pulled on him, and I saw him with a knife put at his throat. And I also saw him laugh both things off as if they were nothing and say, "Are you fucking serious? Put down the weapon and let's go." That was his reaction. It wasn't to run. It was, let's fucking go. He grew up in Portage la Prairie, a very tough place. I went out there with him. Great people. Support Aaron Asham's chance to play golf tournament. They're just phenomenal people out there surrounded with that tournament. Aaron's always been one of my best friends, always has my back. I trust him. I love him. But Aaron's a fucking nutbar killer off the ice. And we would play St. John's, and he would get into it with Dennis Maxwell. And we'd go, and in St. John's, it's impossible to hide from each other. And for the most part, man, like people might tell stories because there was some things that went public. Lonnie Bahanas punched Mike Therrien, and that was because Therrien was being a dick that night. There's a story to it. I'll talk about it soon. I don't have enough time here right now because it's a long story. But for the most part, I mean, we would get along. I mean, like I told you, I just posted a thing on Instagram about my fight with Sean Thornton. That was like, man, we fought 3 or 4 times in exhibition before the year even started. And so that wouldn't be the first time we fought. And I remember coming off, it was overtime. We got kicked out, obviously, early. And me and Storty shared a cab downtown. I saw him out there. I'm going downtown. He's like, so am I. So we shared a cab, had some beers. I mean, we didn't make it hugely public. We were friends. And then, the rest of the boys came down afterwards on both teams. I don't remember what happened after that. I just remember thinking, it's cool that this isn't weird. Like Thordy and he just looked at me. It didn't feel weird. We just got into, and I'm like, people just paid money to come see us. We're NHL prospects that just fucking went toe to toe in an even knock them down, drag them out slugfest, and shared a cab. Anyway, though, when we got down there again, fucking Ash or I don't know if it was this time. I really don't, because we played in St. John's a lot. Fredericton, St. John's, same division, like I mentioned. So, but I remember going down, man, more than once. And Ash and Maxie were stood up in TJ's, and they were about Turkey Joe's at the time, and they were about to fucking throw down. Now Maxie, as I understand, grew up, I think, in Hamilton. I could be wrong. And like tough, like grew up, like I just mentioned, Brian McGrattan, tough area, Hamilton, like being able to handle yourself. Hamilton's gritty. I love it. I go back all the time, but like a lot of it is gritty. Right, you fucking get into that game in Hamilton, fucking fighting growing up and stuff, and you're gonna see a lot of fights. As far as I understand, Maxey did. So I'm not saying Maxey isn't tough. I really don't fucking know. I'm assuming, yes, he certainly talked about it a lot. But I'm glad it didn't happen because both guys had a reputation for fighting off the ice. Both guys are absolutely stubborn and ruthless. And I think if they got fighting, it wouldn't have ended well because, someone slips and falls or like someone gets their head smashed in. I don't know, but two relentless guys that chuck them. But they were always at each other, like always. Remember more than once having to go in and fucking split it up, like physically. So certain things like that did spill over, I suppose. I heard stories about others, but for the most part, no. And it's funny, Carol. It's funny because you look at my social media, my Facebook or my Instagram, obviously teammates of mine, there's a lot of them, but a lot of the fighters, even from another era, there's just a level of respect there. I can't explain it. I mean, I'm going to get Brian McGrattan today and Dolo fucking threw him. We don't have to speak about it. We won't probably, but there's just an inherent knowledge, that you went out and stuck up and you played the game tough. And most of the guys I fought back in the day, like more than once. I just mentioned Matt. I didn't meet him when we played, but we're friends now off, social media. Jody Shelley, a guy could go on and on. Authority. I mean, literally everybody I fought. Yablonsky, fucking all of them. Anyway, even guys like I said that came after that. Like I don't know. There's something to it. Yeah, there's something to it. And a lot of guys, like I bet you I have hundreds on Facebook that, it's just part of the hockey fraternity. And a lot of guys who drop the mitts. It's not an easy thing to do. It can be fun. And in the heat of the moment, there's nothing better. And to get close to 20,000 people on their feet going fucking mad, man, it's fucking great. Really is. But it's a job. You got to do it. And sometimes it hurts. Getting punched in the face, in the eye socket, hurts sometimes. Sometimes one of those punches misses and hits you in the temple. Not misses, sorry. What a way to put it. When I'm defending in a fight, I should explain that. Like defending. When I'm in a fight, I'm always wary of if I'm going to be punched and where I'm going to be punched. So you get used to where it's going to come from after just a few. I mean, after hundreds of fights, you can. So you'll see, you'll start timing the punches, but you're trying to take it in the side of the head, like side upper head, like where there's hair, like up on. You're trying to take it there. At least I am, because I can get hit there and it doesn't. And in fact, it might hurt your knuckles a little bit right on top of my head, like to the side. So I like taking punches there and then dodging them. But once in a while, if you're going to play that game, you'll get it right in the temple. Okay. And when you get it in the fucking temple, at least for me, I mean, it's immediate. You see stars just for a second though. But ever see I don't know, there's a couple of my fights where I end up on one knee and I get back up, or sometimes people just go straight down. It looks like they got knocked out, but it just makes you see stars for a second, and sometimes just lose the sense of where you are. And that in that case, it might look like you're knocked out. It happened to me more than once, though. It happened to me with Ryan Vandenbush. I've talked about it. And I took it the wrong way, man. And it hit me in the temple. And I remember just black and breathing and being on one knee. And then going to the box and him even trying to talk me through it. But I was actually pretty good, because I'd been hit the same way and been knocked the fuck out. Right? That happened once in junior. It happened, though. I went in the room. I'm still not going to say who it was. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction this much time because it didn't really look like it. I kind of fell on the linesman. I was fucking gone. And whatever it was, I was bleeding. So it looked like I went in. Bad enough, fucking, because I didn't like this guy. Not enough to hit him off the ice, though. But anyway, when I went in because I was bleeding, so there was an excuse to go in the room. But I remember being in going, there's no possible way I can go back on the ice. I can't even fucking see. I was woozy. I was double vision. Really, I wouldn't be able to skate straight ahead, puking, and that lasted a few hours, I suppose. But sometimes you just get hit and you space out for a second, and it's totally fine. It's just the way the punch hits you. And that happened to me more than once. Anyway, so, and that's the thing about street fighting, right? People, that's why I hope when I'm speaking here, and if there's any younger players listening, and I talk about Ash, this wasn't normal stuff. Everybody didn't bar fight back then. Ash is a fucking maniac. Hockey, no hockey, baseball, soccer, flute, playing choir, whatever. The guy is just his own bird. And we didn't go out starting fights or anything. It's just a few times trouble found us. If trouble found Ash, he'd stick up to it. That's it. We were roommates, man, in Red Deer, in Montreal camp, then in Fredericton, and then in Montreal. I'm talking on the road. And then Gander, playing for the Gander Flyers here in the Newfoundland League. So we spent a lot of nights together. All of those nights, yeah, there's a few nights, man, that it got a little bit fucking crazy. I don't know, hundreds of nights that I spent with Ash, literally as his roommate, going back to the hotel. Some good, some bad, some ugly. I'll let you guys speculate. You know, sometimes people come at you in the bar or whatever. I would usually walk the other way. I'm into like listening to music, maybe some wordplay with some fine ladies at the bar, something like that. But Ash was into, everything. He loved to have a good time. But if you're going to get in his grill, you're going to answer. Jesus, man, do I ever ramble? It's 7 questions here. I can only go 20 minutes today, so I got to take off and do that. Carol, I finally got to your question, though. And I don't even think I answered it great. I gave you 2 kind of answers that I guess I kind of answered your question. Because personally, no. Does it happen? I'm sure. And some people that I know, I mean, hockey stories go around, man. Obviously, right? So I've heard a lot of stories. I just don't think I'm at liberty to talk about it. But the short answer for me is that the beef continues, of course, because just human nature and the human condition. You're going to go out, there's going to be a rivalry, you're going to get in a fight. Sometimes something shitty happens. Sometimes someone chirps the wrong way. I mean, a lot of people I know had a ongoing with Sean Avery, right? Because maybe some chirps or whatever. And I've just heard those stories because it's an obvious low-hanging fruit. That probably doesn't surprise you. Matthew Barnaby. But my experience with Barnaby was fucking awesome. We fought, like, he chirped me on the ice, and then afterwards he fucking congratulated me, fucking high-fived me. I still do some gigs with him now. So, but I mean, I can't speak for everybody. So this isn't a short answer. The short answer is, it happens that there's a beef, but I don't think it happens that often. And that's the truth. I would think less than 1 out of 10. Really, I would. The hockey community, for the most part, embraces the unity. And in my experience, if I see someone at the bar or something in the summer that I just run into them, that's happened too, like some random place, I would generally go over and have a beer and say, hey, man, what's up this year? You got a contract? Good luck. If I come across you, hopefully we don't have to get into fucking fisticuffs, but if we do, it's just part of it, man. Good luck. Cheers. And that's usually what I would do. A lot of people that I know would do the same thing. I hope that answers your question. Sorry it took so long. Folks, if you are downtown St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, and you want to go to grab a beer, you want to hit George Street, you want to check it out, why not go to Trinity Pub, TJ's Pub, Rob Roy Confusion, the Martini Bar, Greensleeves, and of course the Bull and Barrel. Go to Greensleeves, go upstairs, loose tie, have a bite to eat. If you're going to go anywhere else to have a bite to eat, why not Blue on Water or Wedgwood Cafe? Wedgwood Cafe also do catering. Elizabeth Avenue, Wedgwood Cafe, Peter Wedgwood. Rope Walk Lane, you know what sits there? Strength and balance for the body and mind by way of Ryan Power Conditioning. He's awesome. They have a great programs. Check into it online, Ryan Power Conditioning. Crown Cabinets, just because. Check it out. If you live in St. John's, you'd be stupid not to. Carpet Factory, laying the carpet for your family. I don't really know if that's what they want me to say. I just said that because Chris Sparks is a buddy and he owns the Carpet Factory. Mr. Lube, 2 locations in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Camount Road, Torbay Road. Live, laugh. Lube! GS Construction. There we go. We got to work that one in. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community. Check it out, Edmonton, Alberta. True Hockey, wherever you are. True Hockey is awesome. True Hockey, take what's yours. True Hockey, thanks very much. And of course, I loves me Mugsy jeans. See you in a few days, boys. Hopefully I'll have a guest. I can't promise it, though. Have a great fucking week. Happy hockey season. Merry spring. Good luck. Happy birthday. I'll be back soon. Catch you on the rebound.